We're about to get underway in towards the first map of our best of 3. It's Nuke to kickstart things. It's ECSTATIC's pick for dropping on the CT side.
Oh yes, it is. Coming in fast, young man. We'll see here. Out on top, we've got Narquez. He's going to find a couple of heads, but he runs straight into a Glock. There's a player at the back end of the site. The bomb has been dropped out in the open. What is happening? Down goes Kragan, and now just got one. Oh, Nickelback's going to rip his head clean off. That is a hell of a shot. Looks like we got a couple different players in on the server. Here, Neo.
Yeah, so I was
Propler and Celta.
Yeah, so Propler is a name I know. Celta,
yes.
though, however, not one. So this is something I was going to bring up. So Propler was playing for a while. He's guarded on a couple of teams, but, you know, recently he was playing with NASA, and then people will probably know him from when he was back in the day, he played for, like, One Win and Trident. But interesting to see whether this is permanent changes or temporary changes. The reason why I think it's probably permanent is that I know Entropiq are going through some big changes. We saw them kind of tweeting out recently saying that they were making some differences. They were, you know, all transfer listed as well, right? So there's a real potential they've been getting offers elsewhere. However, interesting to see how this team, now it's freshly faced, how it fares up.
Yeah, I mean, guess we'll see.
Worrying.
Forrest is a pretty big one for me. Yeah, Forrest
and Nickelback. I love Nickelback. I've been such an advocate for him for such a long time in terms of, I mean, even before SDY got picked as an RV, role for role, I thought Nickelback could fill that gap. I thought he was so as talented, right? I think he kind of just does the dirty work, but does it really well. So, couple of question marks, yeah.
Yeah, transitional period for this Entropiq roster. At least that's what it looks like in this game. Okay, we're not sure on the long term. Might just be a standing situation. But either way, nice easy 4K for Propler against the Glocks. Just charging in through ramp, hoping to find something a bit cheeky. Doesn't happen for ECSTATIC. They'll be on the early rifle, though.
Well, 2-0 start. Not looking too shabby. Celta as well, if anyone doesn't really know. The last I remember of him seeing, he was playing back on that Singularity roster, you know, was Seized. And I think they had Guardian for a while as well. They were a fairly decent roster. Clax, who now plays for K23, we saw yesterday. They were all part of that old Singularity roster who got dropped, I think, you know, way back in kind of the middle part of this year. But interesting changes so far. LES Molotovs coming through. Great start. ECSTATIC just wants it to be a fast to walk out towards A. It's a one apiece.
Looking good. MP9 at the back end of the site. Not the weapon you want, but sets up an arcade. Clean as you like. 2K to get them back into the round and give them a chance at it. 2 versus 2 though, and again fast and chaotic from ECSTATIC here, so you can kind of play around that fact. Take some control down below. I think, you know, maybe gathering their bearings for a second, figuring that there were 2 out towards heaven. Nickelback, though, reads this insanely quick. They are not ready for him at all. So he's made this look doable. They don't have a kit available, right? So we'll see whether Freezer can play around that, but still 2v1 going to be difficult for him. A player's already, well, he's just kind of given them the space, and maybe that is the move. We'll see. Nickelback trying to find the bomb, gets the tap out, double door open. Oh my goodness. The classic dink for dink, and that AK always comes out on top. That's for sure. ECSTATIC. It's a hell of a way to get it, but they're on the board.
Needed something, right? I think when you come in towards those first full buys, you're against the bonus. That's what we saw kind of Entropiq bring in. Hence why we saw, you know, the MP9s and whatnot. You have to come out emphatically. You have to at least have a couple of AKs saved across into the neck. It is made super expensive. It does make things quite concerning in terms of, you know, long-term economy, and all the same. Luckily for them, not doing too shabby. You see triple AK, 1 killer, 1 Mac 10. Now they're coming against the full buy of Entropiq. The Orbison play for Anarchist. We know what he can do with it.
Oh, a bit of a tag onto Cabbi. He's moving fast down here, though. Nickelback, again, is loving being down on towards the B-bomb site, apparently. Bit of a slow round here. But again, maybe, you know, transparent from ECSTATIC, right? They've gone for the outside execute. They've followed up on the outside execute. There's not all that much baiting and switching going on. So Nickelback, if he finds the right timing, really could do some damage here. Top, a little bit of a sound cue. Maybe does indeed distract Nickelback off the stairs. He gets caught out in the open, and Kragan, they know he's around. He's doing the job perfectly here. Even finds a kill. A bit of a ridiculous one, to be fair, on that little double look. But just the fact that he was keeping them entertained is all he really needed to do, right? And I think they will indeed concede this round.
That's it. It just has to be a safe call. 5 versus 3. They don't have the numbers to work with enough HP, but even saving him might be tough. Kraken's got a decent angle in behind. He might be able to cause a little bit of an issue. Still wary of him, and they will drop him out. That gives them a safe exit out towards spawn. Keep hold of the double M4 when that AWP in play. Much better though, ECSTATIC. Looking impressive. I know, you know, we were kind of making our assumptions and allusions to what we saw in the RMR, and it wasn't the greatest performance from them, was it? You know, someone has to go 0-3, someone has to have a bit of a stinker, and it wasn't them. You know, even the 16-0 against G2 wasn't exactly a dream start. But I think there's a lot of hopes around this roster. They're very young, fresh face. You've got a change in IGL as well, right? You mentioned Bird from Sky has gone to Copenhagen Flames, and he's now Manx has taken up the helm as the caller, and he's, you know, in himself pretty young. He's 24 years of age, and he's kind of one of the fresher faces coming out of the Danish scene. But he's been doing really, really good work to kind of bring these youngsters up to scratch from that Masonic core. And I'm impressed with kind of how they've been improving and growing as a team so far. So good. And if they can get a winner against Entropiq, that's a huge plus too.
Well, Fast A once again is on the card. And they are fighting the frags that they so desperately need, despite the fact that there's a little bit of a stack from Entropiq. Don't really have time to set up the stack though, do you, when, you know, you're on Nuke, to be fair. But Anarkez probably going to look to make this a bit of a long round here, folks, and save this AWP. But yep, ECSTATIC, just as you sing their praises, right? They really pay you back, I suppose, and give us another clean round. So looking pretty good here on the Nuke T side, that is for sure.
Impressed. I mean, of course, for Anarkez, he just has to save it. A hunt might not even be a bad idea. If they can drop that AWP, it really causes a lot of problems over towards Entropiq, but in the grand scheme, they're not really anywhere near to be able to do any sort of damage to Anarkez, and he should be more than happy to keep this one taken across. So yeah, for Entropiq coming in towards this game, we've seen a couple of changes already from what we were assuming of the roster. And so far, not exactly a dream start for them. It's been a bit of a struggle. While the pistol and the force buy was great, since we've seen a full buy come out for ECSTATIC, they've been the better side completely. Even the gamble stack not causing the problems they would have hoped for, and only one staying alive. It's just very, very costly. Lead goes in favor of the T side. And normally when you look toward the T side of Nuke, for me personally, I always say golden number of 6. 6 rounds on the T side, I think, is more than enough just to at least kickstart a conversation about you having a good Nuke. And so far, ECSTATIC look so good. Now, full buy to support the AWP. How does it fare up?
Let's see. Early Molotov coming out. Celta going to be able to hide away from that. Trying to play anti-flash as well in case they do go fast again, but not this time. A little more patience. Yeah, it really has slowed down compared to the earlier rounds from ECSTATIC. I think they understand, as you're kind of saying, the position that they're in, right? And the strength of this spot that they have right now. And what they might be able to do with it is the same end result, though, a fast day, and then everybody's so damn blind. See what happens here. It does seem like, yep, those A1Ss coming out on top of things. It was a little messier from ECSTATIC this time around. Instead of an A rush, they go for an A burst. There's not much difference in it other than the fact that one is 30 seconds sooner than the other.
Yeah, for now as well. This makes things all the more difficult. So I say, if they want a piece, Kraken or fall, Nickelback will see it off. Needed, really did need to have some security around it. For Entropiq now, tying this game back up makes it all the more comfortable. 3 versus 3. They're at least keeping the conversation alive for them. I think for the CT side, the question is for me, how much further can they take this? It's not a map in which we've seen as a strong point for Entropiq in terms of kind of their recent history. Look towards kind of the stats on Nuke. They've only put it 4 times in the last 3 months, and they've only won 2 of them. So it's not exactly one of their strong ones. On paper, this looks like it should be an ECSTATIC freebie.
Yeah, I mean, you'd kind of say, right? And that's one of the big things coming into it. We've got so many variables now with these conditions and all that kind of stuff, right? Krad, get aggressive though, get in the face of the opponents, feeling confident after the last round. A nice little fight coming in from Kraken, but he's quickly dealt with. 4v3 as the dust settles, and again, it's so bloody fast. All the utility gone from ECSTATIC. And they're also a man down. So let's see what the mid-rounding looks like from the boys.
That's the real question, isn't it? I mean, how are they able to, well, I guess, turn this a little bit back in their favor? Smoked out a single. Lost hot control as well. CSGO, he's more than happy to go a little bit aggressive here. They can even play off the numbers if they really want to. This is a great hold from Entropiq. ECSTATIC got very little, first of all, information and then space to work with. It's kind of a horrible scenario. Bob, Messi spray gets punished. Nickelback will fall.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Gets a bit difficult now in the mid-round. Nuke will take one back with him, trying to hold down this B-bomb site. Plants coming in. They're both ready to go, these two players in from the ramp area. CSGO, it seems like he's still kind of distracted on the top end, but he wins his fight. ECSTQueenix take them all. He thought he was coming from the other side. Not going to happen for him. Entropiq, they regain that lead.
Little bit dicey, right? And this is the thing that we're seeing now for Entropiq, and even when they find success, it's quite costly. This is going to add up in the long term, especially on that CT side, because we know how difficult it is to consistently build up that CT side economy. And if they're winning rounds, but at the same time only be left with kind of 2 or 1 players left alive, they're going to struggle. Don't have lost players to work with, so it makes things all the more uncomfortable. We look towards Nickelback, M4 collected armor, utility, but then across the board, utility might be a little bit of a few and far between factor. For Entropiq, they need to be cautious about how expensive these rounds are being found when they're successful. For ECSTATIC, though, coming towards round rate, it is just a bit of a low buy. See 3 Galils picked up, a double Deagle. I gotta say, I don't know what you script. I'm a pretty big hater of the Galil. Not a fan.
It's only 1800 though, innit? I think
Cheap, yeah.
Longish range, fully automatic.
I just can't control it.
It does the job. I mean, that's fair enough, innit?
There's a reason I commentate. And don't.
Maybe. Nickelback takes one in the head from said Galil. Oh, and get a bit of a pre-fire in for one. Not a bad move, considering, you know, his situation there. Oh, goodness, a wide swing from Propler, I've got to say, but wins the fight. It kind of works for him. 4 versus 3. Bomb's gone down. Queenix in this close range angle. Here's the scope. Loses a teammate. Needs to gain some frags here. Only good for the one, though. Propler was low as well. Really could have been the moment to turn the round upside down. It's going to be Kragan. He seems to know where he's coming from, and Krad's got his number. So, taking him a bit of time, but Entropiq, they're really in the groove now.
That's it. 5-3, and we were kind of talking about how these changes are going to really affect this roster. No Mir and no Forrester, and Forrester is a player you highlighted on Mir, and a lot of people highlighted him just because of, you know, we see those old days with Spirit. How they struggle, and interesting enough, looking at it in the most recent result outside of this, they played 1 win, and they were playing, and that was just under a week ago, right? So these are very, very new changes to this Entropiq side. I'm really kind of questioning what's happening with this roster, because my understanding is that the entirety of them have been transfer listed, is what I'm under understanding. And Entropiq are now just focusing on their Czechoslovakian, I want to say, roster. They're kind of their second roster, so to say. But you guys are still representing the org until they get sold, if I'm right in saying. Do you know any further than that?
That's about my understanding of it as well, to be fair. I mean, you know, it always goes a little bit up in the air. With stuff like this. To be fair, it's a recent phenomenon that we're seeing players get transfer listed at all. Usually you just get told that they've moved, right? They may be behind the scenes have been transfer listed, but obviously about it. Could be the way to do it, we'll tell. And Arquez takes a lot of damage for that 1 frag, to be fair to him, and they have managed to get down the vent, which was the goal. They've lost a man on the way down, of course. They've gained one now, though, and Queenix is being annoying up top. That's going to allow for the bomb plant to come through. So they're already happy with where this round's at. Potentially in a 4v4 to really do some damage here. And Arquez is surrounded. Yep, nowhere to go, and he can't find a single frag for it, actually. Just want to hold on to the weaponry that they've got here. Nickelback gifted a kill and allows CSGO to get down. An AWP and an M4 recovered, though. Surely now, you know, you're looking at a pretty conventional round, right? It's not like weaponry. Down goes Nickelback. CSGO for the save, and ECSTATIC have nicked away around Neo.
Yeah, and you look towards those rounds, right? When you bring in just pistols, the priority, get a bomb down. If you can get a kill, that's a lovely cherry on top, but you're not really expecting them to walk away with a round. That is a huge benefit to have under their belt. So you're walking away with a round, and AWP and double M4 LNS saved as well on top of that. For ECSTATIC, that is a dream of a 4th spot on the board for them. They're not only 1 round behind, they're putting up a brilliant T-side performance so far. Entropiq, quite concerning that they've let that slip. All it took was the most standard of calls. Boys, vent drop. Let's just go for it. Just dive down vent. Let's just play the numbers. And it works a dream. Really well played from them. I'm impressed with how they've gone about that round, because you don't expect Tech9 to be walking away with a victory, but they have. And they've now made it only a one-round deficit. It changes the story massively in the middle part of this first half.
Chilling. Oh, that is a pretty substantial frag from Cabbi, actually. A lot of control gain super early on into the round. We saw it a lot yesterday when there was these, you know, outside early frags that came in, but a good recovery from Entropiq. Bombs hit the deck as well, so 4 versus 3. Dragging in behind. This could be pretty big. I don't think they expect him at all. He's just got to get the read of moving towards hell. I think he wants to go down ramp. He wants the boys to join him here. But all the same, this is really a position that's just not been thought of. Proper maybe. Maybe.
A tempo stood right there. I think this is what we've seen as a bit of a default from ECSTATIC, right? When they lose the numbers advantage, they just cut the clock, don't they? They just try and play and try and bait out mistakes. And, well, for now, they're not finding too much. They lost outside control. Celtic going to regain it. And with the information they've got, they've more or less confirmed that the only place they can be is ramp. Hence why they're rotating over. And that breaking of the window will confirm things.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to make their way down, get that bomb plant in. Picking up the pace once again here, guys. So we'll see. It's still that man advantage for Entropiq. They just have no information at all. No one down here to really take a clean fight. Oh, this is going to be so awkward for them. Only the one here as well if that gets spilled. A missed shot from Freedom. Play. Flash comes in. Super effective. Krad will go down to the fire. They don't have a lot of time here. Kragan finding another kill. It's massive spanners in the works right now. Kragan on top of the silo. How do you deal with him? No utility to do so. And no time to really trade efficiently. So Anarkes has to back away and concede the round. ECSTATIC are really squeaking these rounds out, I have to say.
Oh, that's the margin. Oh, and a shot as well towards Kragan. Talk about reactionary. He will fall, but you mentioned, right, ECSTATIC are squeaking them out, but the priority and the main thing is that they're getting right on the board on the T side of Nuke, which is the second most seated map in the pool. I'm impressed with kind of how they're just composing themselves, these youngsters stepping up. One person in particular for me who isn't really leading the charge in terms of frags, but his impact has been fantastic, is Breezer. He's got the tough task of taking down Anarkes. How do you limit the AWP on the other side? And, you know, the ECSTATIC talent member, so far not doing too shabby of a job, looking all right. Snapping out, flooding out towards ECSTCabbi, one apiece, what a start.
Goodness gracious, where's this round gone? You definitely expect them to win it, but it's been a fast one for sure. They might just have heard proper there as well. Regardless, bomb going down. That'll be all she wrote for this one. He's going to try and rotate his way all the way around to find this gun, isn't he? So we are once again in for a bit of a wait on the round, but ECSTATIC already hitting that 6, that golden 6 that you like to talk about. They've got a lot more room to go further than that, my guy.
And that makes it more worrying, doesn't it, right? The fact that we're seeing a really, really stalwart performance from the T side already makes it so concerning about what can Entropiq even muster up in terms of, well, this half and in the longer term, this map, maybe even the series. Will this have longer term implications? Surely Prop doesn't survive and now only all 4 remain alive, which means that long-term economy for the T side is looking stupendous. They're looking really comfortable right now, and you've got to say for Entropiq, back to square one, back to the drawing board. They need to desperately turn this one around. If they want this to be a comfortable half, they've got to get 9, and that means they have to be flawless from here on out. I'm concerned already. This isn't looking like a fantastic map for them, and so far the performances are matching that.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. I think ECSTATIC realise, okay, look, they've got these like newer players standing in or whatever. Probably not going to be ready for us to go super fast. However, Propler definitely is in this round. Going to lose his teammate. He's got another one to help him out. He will have clocked that vent drop. Nickelback's already there and waiting, of course. So, you know, it's funny. There's okay. Ridiculous shot from Breezer. One more and I'll start to believe. Not going to happen for him, though. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I think that there's an element of like RNG to these rounds where they're just playing super fast. Some of them work just so well, and some of them are in the bin like that one, but
That's it.
they are picking up. It's kind of a 50-50 on the split of rounds, right? So, you know, they'll be happy with that on the T side.
They will, absolutely. They're more than happy to kind of walk away with that. Now, all tied square. Now, I was saying earlier, you know, they played 4 matches in the last 3 months, but that's with the old roster. With this new roster, they've only played once on Nuke in the last 3 months. And of course, it's a fresh-faced roster. They lost it into the breach, 16-14. Now, I do love my UK CS, but they're not quite up to the standard of what I'd call Entropiq. That does even raise more eyebrows and more cause for concern in my books.
Cabbi got it. Oh, jumps the gun a little early, and the Narquez will take him down. Oh, that was potential for so much. Go back off angle, and they are not ready for him. Wow, goodness. A bit of outplay and a bit of mess around in this round. 5 on 2, straight out the gate. And Entropiq, again, hitting the groove, right? I think they are just realizing you got to keep the guns up, mate. They're always looking for a fight, this ECSTATIC team.
They're more than happy to play aggressive. Nickelback gets a couple of freebies that you maybe didn't expect that sort of aggression. I mean, we kind of see where for ECSTATIC, maybe the slight inexperience creeping in just because these youngsters have been playing so well so far. Get a little bit overconfident, get punished for that. Breeze left all alone. They know exactly where he is as well. He's not going to live too long in this world. And Nickelback walks away with a great round individually from him. 3 kills to his name, putting Entropiq up to 7. 1 away from guaranteeing themselves a lead at the half. But even still, I think ECSTATIC have done more than enough to say that they've put up a decent performance towards the T side. If they can see it out in the 15th for final, then things make it all the more comfortable. We do have a quick timeout coming in here. Attack pause is being called, and I'm glad to see it as well. We looked towards yesterday. Don't worry, only attack one. Not the techs. We're all good. Never fear. But you know, I think we saw yesterday. Well, we had a couple of tech pauses. We didn't have too many tack pauses, and I think that was one of those things when you see games slip away from teams. You know, maybe at the kind of the tier 2, tier 1.5 level, some of these teams are more than happy just to play the game without really taking a pause, taking a breather. Which is, I think, one of the massive differences between kind of the tier 2 and tier 1 space. Right, these teams are more than happy just to try and pug their way out of it rather than take a breather. I kind of try to cut off momentum as best they can. Glad to see that pauses are being called because I think, you know, for Entropiq, they need to double down on how well they've been playing in these last couple of rounds. And for ECSTATIC, they want to see things off on a positive note.
Seems we've got a little back-to-back action on the timeouts. But yeah, hopefully into the action soon. But no, it was really a thing when I first started all those years ago. It was one of the more frustrating things is that like teams at this level just never took timeouts. So we've definitely come a long way. I'll tell you that for free.
I'm glad.
But, sometimes there is still a bit of work to be done, isn't there? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Some teams in particular, maybe even some regions, it's just a little bit ingrained in the way that they play as a region. Just don't really take the timeouts as much. They're pretty big, dude. They're pretty big, especially if, you know, you've got yourself a sneaky little round or, you know, the kind of trickle down of like a pro round, a super high level round. You might have been the first one to nab it and they've not really done the work on how to counter it or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And you just pulled it out after a timeout. So certainly worth their weight in gold, those timeouts. For any aspiring pro players out there, future pros, I believe we call them in the ESL circuit. But yes, indeed, we are moving into a half fight here from ECSTATIC. And well, what else is new? Looking to go fast. Work at all. Not a single kill coming in.
Great hold.
It has been a bit of a masterclass in the past few from Entropiq. Taking them some time, but I think they're used to this game style now.
Yeah, finally kind of settling in a little bit, right? And this is where we can maybe get a little bit more comfortable with what we see from Entropiq on towards Nuke, because this is looking significantly better, well, at least when it comes towards that aggression, which ECSTATIC have been great at controlling in their favor. Now, 15th and final round on the board. And even for ECSTATIC, unfortunately, their economy isn't really that great. We see a double Mach 10, double Tech 9 on a Deagle. Isn't exactly a dream buy. They should go fast once again. Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, guys. They really are not wasting any time here. Seltzer on top of Hut is so blind, but also uncovered. So it's going to get a bit weird out here. Kragan needed to find that trade. That gives him the man advantage. The smoke at Mini, for goodness sake, how annoying is that?
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit of a miscom on that one, though. Propler gets away with absolute murder. The bomb has yet to be planted. What is happening here? Breezer is just trying to draw them away. Will get naded down. I mean, it doesn't matter. Queenix needs to win the round, right? And it's just not going to happen for him. So all that, you know, oh, they got the bomb planted. It's not a thing because we are, of course, switching halves. 9-6 at the turn. ECSTATIC got their golden 6. And you said Entropiq got to win the rest of the rounds to make this a recovered half. And, well, they did, mate. So we'll see whether 9's enough for their T side after the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Second half underway of map number 1. In my opinion, decent start from both sides. ECSTATIC, as they get the golden number 6, and they did. But Entropiq, a strong finish. Can they continue now that they're on the quite tough T side?
Yeah, made sure that they stayed there, I think, was Entropiq's key thing. Nice head down from Cabby. Oh, Kragan gonna fall. So this is not looking too good for ECSTATIC. They're a man down and a man as well on the cards. Maybe needed a couple there from Mankz. Goodness gracious, 4 kills in about a second. And Cabby, the one who took first contact, did find himself a kill in all this carnage, is now left to do it all. Don't really give him too much of a chance on this, to be fair. There it is, and Arquez will creep out, get a bit of timing on him, and make sure to finish off the super low HP player. So,
nice.
Drop it with the pistol. Pretty big.
That's it. Really do. Needed as well, I think, for Entropiq. That T-side is, at times, very, very difficult to kickstart the momentum. I think some teams really struggle on T-side and Nuke just because of the severe amount of choke points. If you don't have the right utility, It makes things very difficult. But that's much better. Much better. They've extended the lead to 4 rounds as well, so they're at least building up at least a breadth of a gap to work with, just in case ECSTATIC start to mount a bit of a comeback. Here's round number 17. Gonna go thick and fast as the pistols.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, speed. ECSTATIC absolutely love it. Found themselves a couple. I mean, I feel like that's not too bad of a return.
No.
However, Krad's just got himself a 4K with the Mac 10 there. So he's pretty rich right now. Recovered a Galil as well for good measure. Early rifle coming in from ECSTATIC once again. Now, on the T side, I'm a bit of a fan. On the CT side, I'm kind of less so. I think Nuke's not a terrible map for it, but the ultimate thing is we've got no kit. You've got very little offensive utility. Your AWPer is glass cannon. You know, there's a lot that sticks out here, really, especially when you are a bit far behind.
Agreed.
It makes it tough. You really, really have to win this round, otherwise the game starts to look fantastic for Entropiq.
No, I do agree. I think there's a world in which ECSTATIC, their aggressive nature, generally in their play style, but of course their buys in a similar fashion, could actually come back to bite them. This is such an important round. If they drop this, of course, they've got to go up to 12, but it makes them all the more worse. Great opener and the double down for Kraken 2. That's the bomb. Brilliant opening. Brilliant start.
Absolutely massive. Definitely needed. Just gives them so much control. And Narquez, maybe needs to go back to recoil master. He was certainly caught off by that one. A bit of a rough spray for him. Probably could win this fight. I don't think Kraken's going to give it to him, though. Still, I feel like he's a little bit unknown. Barrel spotted, but he still wins out the fight. Takes a dink for his troubles, so... a tough one here. Great little angle from him, though, and a great read. 2 versus 2. They've got the numbers back, but again, Propler's low, and now he's kind of trapped. Where does he go from here? We'll see. Cabbi, is he going to give him the engagement that he wants? I don't think so. And the hand, indeed, can be shot off. So just down to Celta. Not totally out of the question. They're a little bit isolated. The A1S has got the better angle. There you go. They absolutely needed that on the ECSTATIC side of things. And a pretty clean affair.
Yeah, I think that's actually the most important thing, right? The fact that it's clean, the fact that it's not expensive, it means that they can kind of double down off the back of a nice buy. And as you spoke about now, they can pick up kits to work with, so it makes it all the more easier. Mankz to pick one up. Good amount of utility. In the grand scheme, much more comfortable over towards that CT side. When you look towards Entropiq, slightly mixed bag of buys coming through. You see 3 AKs picked up, which looks fine. And then you see Nickelback got a Tech 9. Celta's got a Deagle. Not exactly comfortable. We'll see what they can make work with it. If they can drop out an M4M1S and then collect it and drop it over towards the pistols, change the narrative massively.
Oh, he heard the jump.
Did.
Yep, definitely gave the game away a little bit there. Breezer here and not mess up. They can't chase him, but he also can't get the shot off. And that is a big, big frag. Down goes Cabbi as well. In comes Queenix. He's the one, the chaos in this round. And the nade. Oh, I was going to say that first point he was looking at could have been massive. Surely can't get this trade. And now it's a difficult one. It is a very difficult one indeed. Celta was sort of the lurking presence. It looked so damn good. Down, secret, finding the early 2 kills, catching them off guard. But then Queenix gives them a taste of their own medicine. Unlucky. Nearly onto Mankz. That looked like he was on his head, I won't lie. It was a bit unfortunate not to land the crazy 1D. Either way, ECSTATIC stringing them together. Really would have, I mean, it would have changed things, right? The Deagle shot gets found, opens things up into a 1 versus 1, then completely changes kind of what we view that round. But ECSTATIC on the CT sides is having a full buy look a lot more comfortable, a lot more secure. And this is what we were saying about them. You know, by picking up 6 rounds, it really makes a world of difference in terms of how effective they could be heading into the CT side because of how decent the T side start was. Now though, Molotov will come through, but a util to follow suit. Queenix will post off, and it is just pistols over towards the T side. If they can get a bomb plant, that would be a nicety. That would be a cherry on top, but it's pretty unlikely. Yeah, I think so, bro. Anything in this round, really, just anything. I think is what they're after. There you go. Proper on 20 kills, by the way.
Not a bad start.
Yeah, it's a nice little... you know, for sale sign for him, maybe. If they're just wanting to offload players. We'll see.
So so slow right now. I'm for Entropiq. You know, we saw what ECSTATIC did when it came to their low buys, their pistols. They just held W, drop down vent, get a bomb down over towards B. Different story for the Entropiq side. They're looking to try and make mistakes and kind of force errors over towards ECSTATIC, and I don't think it's working because they're going towards A. Look who's here.
Oh, Queenix. Yep, solid. Cabbi as well. Nice and crisp for the 4K there. Lovely stuff. Closing the gap here and looking pretty good while doing so. So Entropiq going to need to put a round on the board for my money just to, you know, keep that gap nice and big. Because I think, to be fair, there's only really one round in it, folks. Depends on bomb plants and everything, but if ECSTATIC get this one cleanly, then it's a half buy. You expect them to win that, etc., and then we're 11-11. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Really interested to see how this kind of changes things now. I think for me, if Entropiq don't find a round within the next 2 to 3, I think this game's done. I feel like ECSTATIC to see it off. Great double opener as well. Bruiser, what an angle.
Absolutely looking good. They read into that one quite well. Entropiq have been liking the outside execute, so they put a lot of pressure, a lot of bodies outside. Brad, though, as everything, you know, settles back down, he's going to find his way in mini pretty fast. I think they might have missed this. It's just one of those positions that he doesn't really know what to do with it, right? Like, if he keeps moving forwards, he might just catch a player in the rafters that has a better angle than him. He's going to try and go for it, but he's got so many angles to clear. Making a bit of noise. Well, it's definitely been heard, and there it is. You know, that wide swing out from up above. It's so hard to win that fight. Looking very, very good here. ECSTATIC. And there is the clean pickup.
Love it.
Should be 11-11 on the board, mate. You know, perhaps I should take out a lottery ticket this week, but we'll see. Entropiq, of course, still got room to start putting rounds back.
I've got to say, I'm quite concerned now. I don't know about you, but this is getting worrying for me for Entropiq. They're looking a little bit shaky on that T side. Not exactly what we saw at the start of this map, where it was looking pretty decent, especially with the 2 new guys coming in, and of course Proplo had been farming to open things up. I was like, okay, you know, maybe we don't have to be too worried. Now I definitely am. 10-11 and ECSTATIC, as you mentioned, this should be the game being tied up here.
Yeah, they've been pretty good on the anti-ecos and everything, so shouldn't really see anything too crazy. Maybe Entropiq need to take a leaf out the book of ECSTATIC and just charge into A, no holds barred. But they're taking their time, and well, first frag comes in for Cabbi. Yeah,
not too shabby. Oh, I didn't realize I did that. I'm a poet.
Oh, that's okay. Well, there you go, mate. that's all good. That's when the best ones come through. You know what I mean? Oh, goodness. Speaking of best ones, Manx on the 3K for this round. Everybody getting a nice taste of the eco frags to get their stats padded. But yes, Entropiq not really doing anything of much substance. We'll see here, man. This is getting really scary now, to be honest. The rounds are just too smooth for ECSTATIC.
Yeah, I mean, in a sense, it doesn't even look like they're being tested, does it? I mean, it's so simple, it's so effective, clean cut, concise from ECSTATIC. You really get worried. For Entropiq, they are, oh, hang on a second. Breezer, who's struggled to implicate some impact in towards this game, to be perfectly honest. Right clicks Cabbi in the back. Oh no, Queenix even.
Yeah. Whoopsie daisy.
Starts to about 39 HP.
Daisy. Not good at all, mate. Yeah, not good at all. Still goes for a peek onto the AWP, though. This is so slow right now. So very slow. T-side is pretty much out of utility, though, so they don't have a lot of options. I guess that's because on the timing-wise, I just looked across to where their util was at, and of course it was in mid-air. So, going for a late outside move. That is a big nade, some big A1S damage as well. Close for Kragan. If he keeps at it, he may well find one. Not going to be the case, however. We've got the big man Breezer down below. There's Celta coming in, cashes in on a little bit of the assist. However, they will still keep the numbers in their favor. Molotov down pretty quickly as well. A lovely little move. Cabbi. Left eye swing. I wouldn't do it, mate. Flash comes in. I'd maybe do it now, but he is really biding his time with this one. Just looking to find the timing, and he doesn't get it, but Breezer's going to find all the frags. Whoa. That's a hell of a flick at the end. Nonetheless, 12-11 comes in, and ECSTATIC for the first time in a long time have regained the lead.
Yeah, he made up for that stinker of a start to the round by backstabbing QueenX down to 39 HP. So I've got to say, Breezer, hold my hands up, I apologise. I was very concerned, you know, came into the round of 8 kills. He started off by backstabbing QueenX. It was a all-round rough showing, but he made up for it. Lovely quad kill from him. And most importantly, as you rightfully mentioned, they've taken that lead. It changes the story once again. Entropiq are really backs against the wall sort of scenario for them. And they're down to, once again, just pistols. It's going to be back to the square one, back to the drawing board to try and muster up success. And they've struggled to find any on their low buys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't know, man. I think we need a timeout and a pace change or something.
Spot on. Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, it's kind of dire out here. It is kind of dire. They're really not showing anything of substance in these rounds. I can't lie.
Really shows as well, kind of, in a sense, kind of how the mighty have fallen, really. You know, you look towards kind of Entropiq and how scary they were as a side in terms of their T side. They were so good at finding kind of individuals stepping up like your Mirs and unlike your Foresters. And of course, without them, they're not quite as dominant as they once were. Utility out towards A, they want to go towards Lamp, but they can be met by the AK. We're not going to find a kill as of just yet.
Oh, nice find from Crad as well. Staying alive. Does need to stay alive, you know. It really becomes a bit problematic if the AWP goes down. There's a flank here as well from Propler, recovered A1S. Marquez deep into the site, so everything's clear up here. Chaos has gone pretty well. This bomb will go down easily. No one at Heaven to deal with it. They're actually pretty much all downstairs, so yeah, this could get difficult to make their way back in. The one thing, of course, have the stronger weaponry, got the kits, couple flashes. So that should hopefully help them all coming in together as well. I do like this actually against the pistols. I think it's pretty good. We've got an AK retrieve for Crad now, so keep your eyes on these guns and what they can do. Propler with the timing, in for one, sets up a second. And Breezer, not a chance. It's not worked out. Just the, you know, unlucky. And even goes down at the end. But yeah, just a sort of unlucky from Cabbi checking the left rather than the right, you know. And
yeah,
some players might have done it the other way around, but not this guy, unfortunately.
Really makes a difference as well in terms of how a small amount of utility would have completely changed things. Just smoke there, you just smoke off door, don't you? Clear to the right hand side, completely has a different effect. But all tied square, we're getting an even game to kickstart map number 1 here. We had a bit of a blowout in towards our second map yesterday, so let's see a bit of a competition here. And Entropiq aren't quite dead just yet. I was concerned they were. Still a bit of life left in this side on the T side, but it's a full buy once again, as expected, out towards ECSTATIC and an upstairs play for Breezer. They've got plenty of economy to work with in the long term too.
Not looking good here, is it? Celta, he spans away. That's exactly what Entropiq need. I don't think we've really seen a round in this game where a team's just found a quick opener and then work off of that. I think we've seen loads of, like, you know, bursting in and rushing in and slower pushes maybe from Entropiq, but they're usually all together. There's generally a period of like 45 seconds to a minute where one team just doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, so slow. I mean, that's the CIS mentality, isn't it? They're so like as a region, the way in which they play CS is very slow, very methodical, waiting to kind of bait out utility and mistakes and stuff. At the same time, though, it doesn't always work out in that case. And we know how Nuke, for a long time, was such a home ground for Danish sides. Even Astralis really put up some serious performance here. Then Heroic followed suit as well. I think ECSTATIC are trying to do some of the same themselves. But Entropiq now down towards Ramp. There's a lot of space for them to work with. Kraken might not get the timing.
Ooh. Pretty fast. Ahead of the Molotov. I just can't land the shots, man. Tough angle for a reason. Nickelback keeps on going. Will give his life away, but at the very least trade some damage and some info, of course. So Narquez pretty late down here, trying to keep attention on him, and well, that is going to work for them. So it should be a 13th here for Entropiq, because I don't think, you know, the static boys are anywhere near the action, unless it all happens really fast, but they're not even going for it. They are indeed just going to hold for the save. So Entropiq back in the lead, heating up towards the end. They just needed a bit of pressure, a bit of a fire under their backside.
For now, I think there's definitely a I don't think it's, you know, a sinking ship kind of scenario for ECSTATIC, but they have faltered in a few rookie plays in like so costly. We even say, you know, swinging up in towards radio, they find one kill in front of the Molotov, changes things completely. Then he gets a second over towards stairs. Hey ho, maybe the round goes the other way, but Entropiq back in the lead. It took a while for this T side to find some form, find some security, and finally they have. And one thing we've seen as well is that for ECSTATIC so far, one of their biggest weaknesses seems to be ramp. A couple of times now, Entropiq have exposed gaps both on low buys and full buys over towards ramp, where they've kind of forced the AKs away or forced even Breeze with the AWP to be a lot more passive and not have the impact he was kind of hoping for. I think Entropiq are just going to keep pushing that agenda until they get patched.
Maybe. That's fine from Celta once again. He's been a bit of a criminal in these past few rounds. Easy kill for Entropiq again, and just another easy setup, Neo. There's not much else to add.
It's simple, isn't it? It's sort of standard CSGO, but it's working really well. You see kind of for Celta, he just heard Cabbi fly down off heart. Sound cue, works nicely. For Breeze, will post back up. These can actually work wonders. There's a gap for them to work with. Do they expect Celta tucked in? The barrel won't be spotted. Let's swing. Timing, so unfortunate for Breeze. Gets a tag. Not the kill, though. That's the important one.
Absolutely. Pick up from Queenix, however. Mankz, oh man, also chiming in. How's this one kind of fallen apart for them? ECSTATIC have done a pretty good job of battling back. Nickelback going to give his position away. Crad has not spotted them going down the vent. They seem to think that the bomb's going down the vent. That is a misread. Kragan up top here, I think, has really just got to stay alive, not give his life away. Once he hears those digits tapping in, here's the nades coming through here. They're down there. Could be a decent nade here. It is indeed. Yep, not bad at all. They've got the plant in. I mean, Kragan giving them an awful lot of space, so we'll really see. This could... I don't know, man. This could unfold for me. Queenix, though, he's nice and smooth on the way out. Krad's 18 HP. Surely should be all good from here. We'll see what Krad can do on a little bit of the old mind games. Going to go for the hold on that defuse. Hello? Okay, Mankz does trade him out. The cover was a bit dodgy for a second, nonetheless. He gets it, he gets number 13, and we are back on. Yeah,
questionable coverage, but in the end, it's not the end of the world. That would have been a real kind of mishap if he'd able to kind of ice it to the 1 versus 1s there. Would have changed things completely. Thankfully, not a conversation we have to have. All tied square. It's looking like, to be honest, Script, that we might get the full 30. These two sides inseparable right now, and I think I mean that's credit to how Entropiq have turned things around on their T side, which at one point was looking really brutal. I mean, they couldn't find any success, any form at all, and now looking significantly more competent. For now, though, I think for ECSTATIC, a lot of questions have to be asked them on what's going wrong. While they do find success, it's at such a cost.
Oh yeah, massively. Celta gonna find the first once again. He's done so well on that. Mankz finds Krad, and he will get traded, unfortunately. ECSTATIC don't rightly know how it's going down, but they're hitting the numbers, they're hitting their marks. Trying to just get a cheeky one, but I don't think anyone on ECSTATIC will give that room across. Really solid stuff here from the CT side, keeping their composure. It did look for a second there that Entropiq had done enough. You know, one more round, they break the bank, and they really threaten the win, but ECSTATIC have just not given them that one more round. And it doesn't look like they're going to let up towards the tail end of regulation here.
So for Celta, that's 3 rounds in a row now he's run an opening kill. And all within the kind of the first 10 seconds as well. I think, to be perfectly honest, ECSTATIC might just need to slow things down in terms of how they're trying to get a bit of early map control. I don't think they need to be too aggressive over towards single door, which is where they've lost a lot of their kind of early bits of success. Of course, now it's a 4 versus 2. So in the grand scheme, ECSTATIC should be able to see this one out. Sound being heard over towards window. Mankz will walk away with prop play, and it's Nickelback all alone now. 1 versus 4. To be perfectly honest, does have the bomb in hand, but with 25 seconds, he's surely not finding any success here.
Nope. He's done. He's gone.
Yep.
He's deaders. Yep. That is indeed how it pans out, my good man. And now it's kind of Entropiq in the mud a little bit. This is going to be a scary one. This is going to be a scary one for sure. They were on, oh man, a pretty weak buy. They've got the AKs out, but hardly any utility. A Mac 10 for Nickelback as well. Going to try and maybe lead from the front. New Boy's looking pretty good. It's the existing members that kind of struggling here on the T side especially.
Yeah, the new guys are looking actually, you know, considerably stronger than I maybe expected. Speaking of, though, Nickelback gonna fall, Proper gonna find the trade. Just as we say, the old guard can't seem to find the success, but the new boys pulling them across tooth and nail.
Yeah, absolutely. You really do have to respect it to a certain degree. 4v4, stalemate here in round 28. And what we want from a competition element, Entropiq. Where do they move to? Where do they go? There's a bit of information gathering here for Mankz. He's got to be careful not to go too deep, backed up by the AWP. This is a classic end game kind of move. Teams love going for this, and the catch is going to be there for 2. Oh, and the crunch as well coming in from the rest of the Hut players. It should be enough to get this, doesn't it? We'll see. Only the one for Propler. Crad, he's got the bomb. He's trying to get out of there. And he has just managed to slip the net. I thought Queenix might have seen him looking at the minimap and the X-ray and all that, but not the case. They'll definitely hear him now, but at the very least, he gets the bomb down. If he can pull this one off, I'll eat my hat, as the saying goes. But we'll see. It's not totally out of the question. Coming in for some awkward spots on that CT side. Close range channels.
No.
That's the first head. To hide away for another fight, but he can't get it. I think he needed that second one instantly. Didn't need to bring it down to a 1v1. Either way, it's a valiant effort.
Imagine the scenes. Imagine the scenes he's able to walk away with that one. But it seems like now we're on the road to success for ECSTATIC. 1 round away, 15-13. They've got a couple of gaps to work with in terms of the round differential. For Entropiq, they will have a full buy. Unfortunately, I'm right in saying no AWP to work with. So for Anarchus, it is just going to be the rifle in his hands. And, you know, for Anarchus, he really has struggled to find that success. I said for Breeze, he's got the tough task of kind of trying to limit Anarchus as much as he can with his AWP. And he seems to have done a much better job when it comes on towards that CT side. His impact towards the first half, slightly limited. Now look, a lot better. Bouncing up through. Speaking of devil, Breeze will fall. And who's finally the opener? Of course, it's Celta. 4th round in a row.
Yep, the big man. He's been pretty consistent with them, but sometimes, and to be honest, most of the time in the recent memory, they've not really been able to do anything with it. Have to do it this time, don't they? I mean, game hangs in the balance, if not.
Seen ECSTATIC really struggle from these man disadvantage situations. But just to say that, gonna put things level once again. Molly will come through. That makes all the more uncomfortable trying to take it into the splash, go and find its target, but Propler survives nonetheless.
A little bit of a weird one outside, wasn't it? To be fair, Entropiq though using that initial frag pretty massively. Mankz looking to get a catch. Here's his player. Anarchus is making a fair amount of noise, but comes down with the fight. Oh, an awkward spray down. Anarchus with the trade out, and Queenix hidden behind Silo. Just miles away from him. Surely if they hit the B-bomb site, there's not a chance. And I think... Oh, I don't know. I think they're looking via heaven, aren't they? He's in a pretty good spot to deal with that, actually. So from Hut, though. And his crosshair's just not trained on it. So here we go. We're going full 30, folks. Maybe a little bit more. ECSTATIC couldn't close it out in that round. They've got plenty of cash to work with, though.
Saw a full 30 on Nuke yesterday. Same thing here on towards day number 2 for us. ECSTATIC need to be careful though. I mean, they are few and far between when it comes towards their control of this map, and Entropiq are looking red hot right now. Celta individually as well. His openers have been just perfect. So good at finding those entry kills, where for ECSTATIC there's been a couple of question marks about their somewhat uncontrolled aggression at times. U2 will come through. Queen's gonna go aggro, gonna drop a smoke of his own off the back of the molly. And just limited the control that he's got to work with.
Going a little bit crazy, isn't it, out here? No early kill from Celta yet.
Yes.
He's looking. He's trying. But no, nothing going to come for him. And I think, you know, they've maybe understood that. Perhaps too little too late or whatever. But we'll see here. We will see. Very, very slow and quiet round. Cut the tension with a knife kind of deal. We're going to get those outside smokes coming in. And it looks to be the L smokes actually. I don't really think we've seen them use all that much on that Entropiq side. So saving this one a little bit to try and take us to overtime.
Yeah, very, very slow temperament here. But the doubling back over towards ramp. And I mentioned earlier, that was such a weakness for ECSTATIC in the early part of their game was ramp. And look at it, it's completely open once again. Kraken's playing the passive angle, but Breeze will find the opener.
Lovely stuff. ECSTATIC looking good then. A lot of pressure on these players now. Kragan, he wants to go for that peak, doesn't he? But his better judgment is stopping him, which would indeed be the move. We've got a lot of players down below. However, they're clearing out the whole down below area, so a lot of info starts to come in now. Kragan wins out his fight. Wow, mowed down from Secret. Dropped there, too many gaps. Great little push in from the CT side. How's he not got a single kill there? It's going to be 16-14 in the end. ECSTATIC just get it over the line. We've got another map to come up. Hopefully that continues to deliver, folks, but we're going to take a quick break first.